I have a love-hate relationship with online dating. I think it's the greatest thing ever to happen to dating, and at the same time, the worst.
Did you push record?
Welcome back to our second act with Paige and Silka. Today we're continuing our expert segment with Treva and Robby Scharf. Now I didn't say Brandon Scharf because do you still go by your maiden name? So it's Treva Brandon Scharf, but it's really Robby and Treva or Treva and Robby.
It's Treva and Robby.
Yeah. Top billing goes to her.
Because it's all about you. No, Treva and Robby are dating experts, dating interventionists. They co-host a podcast called Done Being Single, and great story behind that, which we'll link to in the segment we just did. Robby and Treva.
Have you?
See, I was trying to make sure I said your last name. Now I'm calling you Brenda.
Right now, we're ready for Brenda.
You're not alone. Tell you how many people have called me Brenda in my life. It's Treva and Brandon, and somehow it becomes Brenda
It does.
all the time.
That's funny. That's fun. Well, it just worked. There we go. We proved it again. Yeah.
It's like,
Well, anyway, they have this great show, Done Being Single. We're going to link to all of it. But what we want to focus on this segment is this the brave new world of online dating that, you guys are very familiar with. I certainly, I went through it. And one of the biggest questions that, we get, especially for women who are coming out of long-term marriages, men for that matter, is what I don't get it. This is just overwhelming, and they get very, very frustrated, overwhelmed, and just sad. It's the rejection that comes with it. Anyway, I want to touch on all that and get your input on how the world of dating has changed.
okay. I have a love-hate relationship with online dating. I think it's the greatest thing ever to happen to dating, and at the same time, the worst. Greatest in that it has opened up frontiers and horizons like nothing else. Okay. And it makes it easy, and you're at home and you can look and scroll and shop. Okay. So convenience, 10. Humanity, 0. It can be cruel, and it can be soulless and depressing, yes, and frustrating. This is where the humor comes in. This is where keeping your wits about you, not taking it too seriously, it's imperative to online dating survival.
Yes, it is convenient. And I think that in that convenience, there is complacency, and there is the ability to be lazy and not venture out and actually physically meet people. And because it becomes part of your daily routine to log on and see who swiped you and who likes you and what emails you've gotten. What happens is that I think that men and women develop a dependency on this part of their daily routine.
Yeah.
And so they look forward to it, which I think keeps them from making a decision about meeting one person, going out with one, because I'm getting these accolades from multiple people.
Yes.
Go.
Yes. Okay. So not only is there there's a term for it. It's a scientific term. It's like the paralysis of choice. But it's not that. It's the paradox of choice.
That's it.
Okay.
So you'd think all this choice, right? And then it cripples you because you can't make a decision. That's number one. Number two, I think it's absolutely dehumanizing the art of human contact and interaction. I think people are, and I've made this point before, it's meeting people in real life is like a muscle. Your ability to socialize and talk and make eye contact and flirt and just, be present in real life is like a muscle that needs to be exercised and worked out. Use it or lose it. That's another thing, a little problem I have with it. And then thirdly, the fact that it's so disposable, it's just so people, because there's so much choice and it's so anonymous. Oops, it's so anonymous that people don't have to, they can behave badly. They can hide behind their computers and their phones, and they don't have to be really accountable.
Right.
And they can be assholes.
But okay, so assholes are going to be assholes in
But
real life.
they're less
online.
assholes in real life. If you were okay, if people, when we fix people up, or when you were fixed up with someone, you had to behave a little more, because there was a human, there was a personal connection involved, and you wanted to be a good guy, and
Eventually, if you want to meet somebody, you cannot be an asshole. You just have to be a good person in order to proceed with a date more than a first date. You can't, if you're an asshole online and you're an asshole in real life, you're going to be an asshole forever.
Okay, no, right. People are assholes, but there are more assholes online.
Okay, well, I think that
I agree. I think there's people that are online just to be assholes because they can.
Yes.
Right.
Because they can get away with it.
It allows them the freedom to be that way and not disclose who they are. And so I think the flip side of this, though, is that it also allows you to hone abilities that you wouldn't normally be able to, have at your disposal, such as the ability to write properly and to flirt in a two-dimensional way, as opposed to having eye contact, and which is also very attractive. And when a woman was writing me, and you look at her grammar and you look how she writes and what she can, you can be funny in a written word. And this is obviously before chatting and things like that, I think. I don't know. So that was attractive. And where I'm going with this is that it's so important that if two people do connect online, that they meet very soon. They should not prolong the online romance to be something other than what it probably isn't.
I ditto that. I want to have that be a big takeaway from this conversation. Do get out there and meet, and don't have this online interaction actually become your date. That seems like that's what some people do.
It's really unhealthy to be tethered to your phone. It is just not good.
But what we're saying is that if you do encounter somebody and you have some chemistry, you want to meet sooner than later. You do not want to prolong this over a 2, 3, 4 week period of time. And so you're only communicating online. And then when you finally meet, you have nothing in common. For some reason, that has happened to me. I don't know if it's happened to you.
Yeah, very rarely do they are what they are.
So you really want to meet soon.
The hype and the excitement.
And hopefully there is some.
And then the letdown.
Real life chemistry that can compare to what you had online. And if so, beautiful, go with it. But it's a waste of time if you spend 3 weeks communicating with somebody online and then you meet them and there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah. Well, I only did Match. So I did this like 7 years ago, 8 years ago, something like that. I actually had a lot of fun, and I conversed enough to where I felt comfortable giving my number, and I felt like it's okay to meet this person. But now, and I'm not familiar with this at all, and I want to get your input. This whole swiping and what is it?
Tinder.
Tinder. See, I don't even know. That just seems horrible.
I can't speak to that.
We were we were pre-Tinder, but it just makes it even harder. It makes online dating even harder, because now what would normally take maybe a minute to read, now it's this.
Exactly. It's like And I don't want this segment to go all negative, because it is frustrating, and we're kind of sharing frustrations and acknowledging them. So I want to make sure that we focus on, what is good about, or just maybe expected, this understanding is like it, to where you're not surprised by it, but then how do we get past it? How do we get past it without just wanting to, go to bed and pull your covers over your head?
You got to take it with a grain of salt. You've got to keep it in the mix with organic interaction with people. So you cannot just have it all, in one place. You are setting yourself up for total defeat if you do it that way. You got to get out, put your phone down, look around, make eye contact wherever you are in the market. at the gas station, wherever there are people, and you got to really keep that muscle exercised. I think online dating, again, I'm all for it. I love it. I love it, especially when you're getting back out there. It's fantastic. It's great for the ego. It's great for the morale. It forces you to look good, get it together, and make an effort. Okay, it really does. But everything in moderation. You got to have balance, and also just know that there are. I hate to say this, there are a-holes everywhere. Even the ones
you can
meet,
say asshole on our show.
even the ones that you meet on a date, or no. I mean, it's life. There are no guarantees. But online dating is a fabulous tool. It's fantastic for people who normally might not even venture out, and who are really filled with fear and are so either self-conscious or maybe they're leaving marriages that made them, that really ruined their self-worth or their self-esteem. And so for those reasons, I am very for it.
And I don't think you're ever too old to start. I mean, I think that you know. Parents that are in 70s, 80s, 90s, they can get online and meet somebody that companionship, whatever it is. And
yes.
I think that's so important.
I also think there is kind of comfort in online dating in your age group, because I feel that people of a certain age kind of all want the same thing. I mean, we all want love and companionship. I just feel like this is the greatest age to be single in a way, dating online, because pretty much what everybody else in their 50s, 60s plus want, right?
Well, that leads me kind of to the next question then, and you and I talked about that a little bit, but I'd love to get Robby's take on this, is that the whole, and we get this a lot on Second Act, that all men over 50 want younger women. They don't want women in their 50s.
I would like to disagree with that, and I do disagree with that, but I would like to disagree because my theory is that men that are in their 50s and they may just get divorced after being in a relationship and marriage for 25 years or so, and they got married when they were 25. So a man that gets married at 25 is basically cryogenically frozen for those 25 years. So when he is now getting divorced at 50 and 55, and he's now unfrozen, well, the first thing he's going to do is run to a 25-year-old because that's the last reference he has of being single. Mm-hmm. And that may be the best thing for him to experience immediately, because he's going to get slapped down. And on so many levels, he's going to realize, oh my God, that may be what I thought I wanted, but I've got nothing in common with this person. This person is looking at me as Mr. Moneybags, if that's what I have, but nothing else. I can't offer this person anything. And my kids are older than her. So at this point, I think that the man hopefully will go through some type of metamorphosis and say, I need to go with somebody closer to my age group that I can relate to, who likes the music I like, that likes to dance the way I like to dance, and movies, etc. And all of a sudden, they're going to gravitate back towards maybe not their wife, but their ex-wife, but somebody in that age group where they can relate to. So that's my theory there. So I don't agree that men want women that are half their age that way.
You asked a little while ago what we've learned by doing this podcast. That's something I've learned, that men really do want age appropriate women, contrary to popular belief. And if women are using the excuse that, maybe it's an excuse. Oh, well, he's looking for someone younger, or maybe, but most people, guys I know in our age group, they want women close to their age.
Yeah. Well, I've certainly had the same experience. I asked that a little bit in jest, but especially on our channel and YouTube, we go, again, people being ugly. They're those trollers where when we produce this kind of programming, we get a lot of, what does a man over 50 want? 2 25-year-olds, or certainly not saggy 50-year-olds, or really ugly stuff. That is not, it's not isolated. It's not the primary, but I would say 2080, you get that kind of stuff just because of the nature of the platform. And it's really, really important for me to get that message out to women who are affected by that. They're already insecure. They don't know if they're ever going to find somebody again. It's not like that, and that's a message that I thank you, Robbie, for capturing that so well, because I agree with what you said, and certainly what Treva has said.
But now that is for men that are evolved.
Yeah.
Not all men are evolved, and I think that it may take them a few times to date other women before they realize that's not what they should be going for.
And the thing about that is, if you meet a guy and he wants someone half your age, he's not your guy. You wouldn't want him anyway. He's not your guy.
Exactly.
But that brings to, okay, so now if we go back to the online filtering process, because men may put in their profiles that they only want to date women that are, if they're 50, they only want to date from, let's say, 30 to 42 or something. I don't know.
That's all. Yeah.
And when that happens, are they being honest with their age? Because if they say that they are 50, those 30 to 42-year-olds aren't looking for a 50-year-old guy.
No, then they're on the wrong website.
So they're being dishonest on their site. Women may be dishonest because they may be 48 and they don't want to be filtered out of a 40-year-old search. So my point here is that I think Treva and I are both firm believers that honesty is the best policy, and I think even when you're talking about ageism online, and you should be as honest as possible. And I think that the only caveat to this is if somebody wants to be listed younger for filtering purposes, in the first line, if they said, I'm actually 46, but wanted to, I don't know, is that okay? I don't know if that's okay or not.
A lot of people do that. In the first line of their profile, they'll say, what Robbie just said. I don't know. I feel like honesty is really sexy. And and honesty means that you are comfortable in your own skin. Being honest means you are confident.
If you're 5'6", you don't put down that you're 5'10".
And if you're confident, that's sexy.
Right. And if you have pictures of yourself from high school and nothing more recent, and if you are wearing a toupee in your, or if you are bald, be proud of it. Show it off. It's beautiful. Nothing to. And if you're a man, no, I'm kidding. There's nothing wrong with that, but because it's going to eventually come out. You're going to eventually meet this person that you're trying to appeal to, and they're going to say, "You don't look anything like your picture. You're 10 years older than what you listed."
But you know why people? I mean, they have like a second to make an impression, right? So I get the pressure to want to lie.
This is a big part of it. So
because you have like that. You've got to look a certain age or a certain way, and that's the pity of this technology, is that people don't stop and linger and read, and this is an issue I have with it. But Robbie is right. If you are who you are. Own it. Be it. Because that is ultimately really appealing. I don't care if you're bald and short or our age.
Right.
That is so appealing to me, just to say, hey, this is who I am. This is my age. This is what I look like.
If you put it out there, something that you are not, when you eventually do meet the person.
Oh, yeah, that's bad, too.
Then you will have to confront that moment where you have to confront the honesty or dishonesty that you were. Good. And then that causes the other person to think, you're dishonest about this. What else are you dishonest about? So honesty is the best policy. It may hurt for a second. You may think it's the wrong thing to do in order to attract somebody, but I disagree.
Totally disagree.
You want to attract somebody because of who you are, really, not because of who you aren't.
Yes. And the sooner you own every little thing about you, the sooner someone you will find that that accepts and loves every little thing about you.
And if that takes longer to find that person, I think it's better.
And by the way, if you feel shame in some way about your looks, about who you are, I mean, that's a moment for people to use it as a call to action. Okay, this is where the improvement comes in. Yes, I believe that everybody is enough. Everybody should accept who they are, what they are, in the shape that they're in. But with that said, why not be, I hate saying the best version of yourself, because that's intimates that you're somehow not, if you're, you know what I mean? I'm careful saying that, but everybody, there's improvement, there's room for improvement.
Everybody has room for improvement. I totally agree. And it's okay. And that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, so somewhere between total acceptance and owning everything and flaws and all, and then working hard to, improve whatever it is that you want. That's the magic. That's the magic for me.
Right. Well, this is obviously something we can discuss ad nauseum, but our time has come to an end again today. You guys are so much fun, and I'm glad to be able to tell our viewers about your resource, because this is something that is at the heart of so many people, and you offer, you talk from experience, you do it lightly, and engagingly, and I want everybody to tune into Done Being Single with Treva and Robby. Not Brenda.
Brenda, if she's there, Brenda, come back.
That's my point.
Yeah. Is anything else in closing that our viewers need to know?
Yes.
You're a drunken lush.
I am. Okay. Yes, I do want people to know that we're not just for single people, that, you don't have to be single to
It's a relationship
love.
show.
We cover it all. We cover dating, being single, finding love, being in relationships, strengthening your marriage, making the sex hot, everything. I mean, we are really full service at Done Being Single.
Full service. Well, you know what? That just gave me a great idea next time you guys agree to come back on. And that is once you find that person, how do you keep it together? Because being in a relationship, especially when you've never been married, can't be that easy.
No.
A whole new set of challenges. Not that that's a bad thing, but it is a set of challenges, in and of itself. And with that, I would like to close out this segment. Thank you guys so much for coming on, and we'll see you next time on our second act with Paige and Silka. Bye. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already done so, please be sure to subscribe to our channel. Button's right over here. And for more information on finding love again after 50, please visit our website, secondact.tv. See you soon.